You're listening to the Culture Experience with Mel and Bruce. My guest today is Jerrie Merritt. She is the Senior Vice President and the Community Development Manager with over 45 years of banking experience. She's with the Bank of Nevada, currently called the Western Alliance Bank. Jerrie, welcome to the show.
Hi, it's so nice to be here.
I'm
Thank
thrilled
you
to
for
have you
inviting
here.
me.
Yes, listen, I'm thrilled to have you here because we're going to talk about your bank. We're going to talk about how individuals in our community can start businesses, grow businesses, and how they can work with your bank, how they can work with you. One of the things that happens is individuals are often, I don't want to use the word afraid, but they are often very cautious about working with banks because they don't believe that banks will work with them. What do you have to say about that feeling that people in the community have that banks are not willing to work with us?
Well, that is a very true fact. And I happen to think I have the answer after all my years of being in banking of the reason why small businesses feel that way. And I think the number one reason is because the small business do not start out by forming a relationship with their bank. So if you think about anything else in life, right? If it's unknown to you, or if you're not comfortable, or if you don't have a relationship with that person or with that organization, you would naturally feel uncomfortable, right?
Yes,
So it's about relationships. Most small businesses or business owners or entrepreneurs usually have a personal account with the financial institution that they
yes,
really don't really need to have a relationship for because they usually keep their money in a checking account, their savings account, they have a credit card, and they may go into the bank to take out a loan. Okay, for a
yes,
car or something like that, or even when they get ready to buy a house, they reach out to a realtor. And that realtor then looks for the financial institution for them, so they still don't have to form a relationship. But it's different when you actually start a business. When you start a business, you need your bank to be your first partner.
I love that. Let's talk about a couple of things that might help people feel more comfortable with banks and start making and forming that relationship with the bank. So let's say that you are an entrepreneur and you're just getting started. So what are the first three things an aspiring entrepreneur should do before applying for a business loan?
Before they apply for a business loan, they need to make sure that all of their state documentation is in order. Okay.
Okay.
They need to make sure that they have their tax identification number with the IRS. Okay. They need to make sure their name, whether fictitious or not, has been filed with the Secretary of State. They need to make sure that they have their business license in the county or the city in which they're actually doing business. So that documentation is so important. All right. And then the next thing is making sure that their finances are in order. Okay.
Okay.
Typically, for most banks, a new business need to be in business 2 solid years before they can actually qualify for a loan from a bank. You notice I said bank, right? I didn't
Yes.
say credit unions or there are different other financial institutions that have different guidelines, which we'll talk a little bit about later. But
Yes.
if you're coming into a bank to apply, you need 2 years of financials for that business. And I know you just said startup. Most startups don't have 2 years actually of financials. But those are the guidelines in order for a small business to be able to qualify. So,
All right. Okay.
so
Now,
your
I
question is
know
why?
I know from a personal experience that you, Bank of Nevada, Western Alliance Bank, you all have some ways of helping people who are just starting out. Tell us about that.
Yes, we do. And the reason why we have this particular product that I am going to tell you about is because Bank of Nevada / Western Alliance have always been a bank that was actually engaged within the community.
Yes.
And we identified the fact that there were too many entrepreneurs or small businesses that started up that did not have access to capital. Because as you well know, um, any small business needs access to capital, right?
Yes.
So we created a product where if you come bank with us, and I want you to get that word, come bank with us, come into our bank. You want to bank with us. You want a relationship with us. You open up a bank account with all of your documentation in order. We will qualify you for a small, what we are calling overdraft protection. Actually, it's a small line of credit that is actually attached to that checking account. And I know you're probably thinking, but I haven't been in business 2 years yet. Okay. But
That's right.
if you've been in business at least 6 months, okay, you have all your everything in order, okay, 6 months. Secretary of State proves that you can do that. You have done that. We will then open up a checking account for you. We won't worry about your personal credit and we won't worry about your business credit because as a new startup, you don't have a bit in business credit. Okay.
That's right.
We will use the guidelines that you filed all your documentation and that you are a legitimate business doing business within our footprint. And that would be Nevada, California, or Arizona. You open up that account and we actually qualify you for that small line of credit attached to your checking account. If you use it, fine. You know, if you decide not to use it, it just sits there until it's available for you.
Okay, this is a small line of credit. How much is that? How much is that line of credit?
It's 2,500.
Okay, all right.
And
No,
that
and,
can
and
be a
for
lot.
many small businesses, that's the difference between
Yes.
getting started and not.
Mhm.
That's the difference between getting started and not. I want those of you listening to understand that Western Alliance Bank, Bank of Nevada, is working with our community. Jerrie Merritt is working with our community. You need to establish a relationship so that you can find out whether or not you qualify. And if you don't, they will tell you what you need to do in order to qualify for this help. Now, with that program, what else, or is there anything else financial that goes with that? Credit cards, anything like that?
You know, I'm glad that you asked because with that program, we also realize that many entrepreneurs have to wait 2 years before they can actually apply for a credit card also.
Yes.
So if you have been in business less than 2 years, okay, you notice all this time I've been talking about, hey, you need to be in business more than 2 years before. But with this particular product, if you've been in business less than 2 years, okay, you may already be banking someplace else. You've already been in business for a while, but you can apply for a credit card with us with a credit limit of $10,000. Okay. You know, and
Yes.
sometime it may be less, but $10,000 is the max. And if you have a credit score, this one credit scores do a matter, the personal credit score, but you don't have to worry about a business credit score. That's the point to it. So if you have a business credit score of in the mid 60s, okay, and, you know, you're not showing a bankruptcy or anything like that, we can
Yes.
qualify you for a $10,000 credit card for your business if you've been in business less than 2 years.
Jerrie, you're exciting people who are listening to us right now. And people are jumping up and down. And I know they have their pencil and paper ready because they want to talk to you. And if they do, how do they contact you?
contact me by email.
Okay.
J is in jam, okay? Merritt, M is in Mary, ERRITT at westernalliancebank.com. I would love to receive emails from you to say that you're interested in a relationship. Did you get that?
I
With,
love that.
with Western Alliance Bank. And the reason why it's so important, that relationship is I don't want to just be a transaction in your business. I want to be your business partner. And in order to be your business partner, we have to have a relationship. And in order for you to get these products, we can start a relationship just by you sitting down with either me or one of our bankers and telling them more about your business, what your goals are, and what you would like to accomplish here in Southern Nevada.
Oh, love that. Give us that contact information one more time, please.
Okay, Jerrie Merritt at jmerritt at bank. Oh, I almost said Bank of Nevada. So please forgive me if I've been here for the last 21 years. So it's going to be a little hard to say Western Alliance. But one more time, it's jmerritt at westernalliancebank.com.
Okay, so how does Western Alliance Bank support small business owners differently than the larger national banks?
Well, I think we talked a lot about that already, and that's relationship. Okay. With the 11 branches, 10 branches that we have here in Southern Nevada, you can contact a banker within any of those branches and actually sit down and talk to the banker. For many of your large financial institutions, not only can you not talk to a banker, you have to have an appointment sometime 2 to 3 weeks out before you can talk to anyone that may not be your banker. That is the advantage that we have over some of the larger institutions here in Las Vegas.
Well, I love the fact that you are willing to help.
Mhm.
So let's ask some of the questions that a brand new business owner might ask. So, what are some common mistakes that new business owners make when trying to build business credit?
I would say the first one is using their own personal assets. What do I mean by that? Most individuals will have one or more credit cards, right? And
Yes,
when they decide to go into business, one of the first things they will do is use those credit cards to be able to support their business. Okay, it just seemed very common. Okay, I have lines of credits that are actually on my personal credit cards. Why shouldn't I use them to start my business?
yes.
It's usually it is the biggest mistake that most entrepreneurs make. Why? As soon as you use those credit cards, your personal credit score do what? Go down.
Drops.
I mean,
Yes,
it drops immediately.
yes,
Okay. And as an entrepreneur, you will always be the guarantor on any credit facility you go to take. I have entrepreneurs come in all the time and say, I want to apply for business credit, but I don't want to guarantee it. Okay. That don't even make sense. All right. You are the business. So you must guarantee. So
yes,
you need to protect your personal credit score. Do not use your personal credit cards to start a business. Now that's going to make a lot of entrepreneurs' heads spin because they're going to be, where am I going to get capital from?
yes.
But that is the biggest mistake.
Okay. So, can you explain the difference between a business line of credit and a traditional loan and when each should be used?
Okay. Line of credit, term loan. Okay. A term loan is used to purchase something that is going to take you a while to pay for. Got that? Term.
Yes.
So you're going to pay for it over time. Okay. That's a term loan. When you walk into a bank and you tell me that you would like to buy, and I'm going to use this one because this is very common these days, a food truck. A lot of our entrepreneurs are starting up food trucks because, we love to cook. Okay.
Yes.
And that's a
Yes.
great business for our entrepreneurs to go into, but they need a food truck, right? So if you are going to purchase a food truck, that is a term loan because you want to pay for that truck over a length of time. Okay. But if
Yes.
you walk into the bank and say, I need a line of credit, because I just need to buy X amount of slabs of ribs this month. And when I make the money, I am going to pay back my line of credit. So it will be there so I can buy more ribs next month.
Yes.
Okay? That's the
Yes.
difference between a line of credit and a term loan. A line of credit should be used and paid back so that it will be available for you to use it again. A term loan is a loan that you borrow that you want to pay for it over time.
Okay. All right. For entrepreneurs of color or women-owned startups, are there special programs or incentives available?
Well, there's a yes and a no, to that particular question. Okay.
Okay.
The no part is it that when it comes to a financial institution, we must treat everyone fairly. Okay.
Yes.
Whether they're black, green, purple, yellow, or, female or male. Okay. Within in those guidelines. So there are no special programs that are actually set aside within financial institutions just for you because you are. Okay. But at the same time, through community development, okay, when you're working with your financial institution, if they cannot help you with the loan, we do partner with other financial institutions that are not banks that are designed just to help minorities and actually women. Okay.
Yes.
One of them is CDFIs, Community Development Financial Institution. Okay, you will hear that word often. What's a CDFI? CDFIs are financial institutions that are not banks, but are usually supported by banks. One of the things you will hear right now in the news is that our government have stopped funding our CDFIs nationally, which are going to hurt small businesses really bad because those CDFI organizations are not going to have the funding to put into loans for businesses that cannot qualify at a bank. So usually what we will do is we will refer our minority customers, our women customers to these financial institutions that we support, okay, that can make the loans that we can't make. Okay, whether it be for credit, whether it be for collateral, for whatever it be, because you're a startup and you need more than $2,500, you need $10,000. Okay, but you have only been in business for a year or 6 months. I would refer you to a community development financial institution, and we do have several here in our state that are willing to help small businesses with loans that banks cannot make.
Okay. Thank you very much. So let's talk about a business plan. So, what role does a solid business plan play in getting approved for funding?
Well, again, that's one of those yes and maybe type of questions. Okay.
Okay.
So typically, a business plan will not play a huge role in you actually getting approved. Okay.
Okay.
But a lender, especially if they spend some time with you as they're looking at your application, they will ask you the question, do you have a business plan? Okay. And if you say yes, and you start that conversation, they're going to start asking you questions about things that you have built into your business plan to determine how you have planned your business to actually go forward. Okay. That's part of the question. The other part of the question is that a startup entrepreneur must and should always have a business plan. And I tell small businesses that come in to speak with me, and I ask them if they have a business plan and they say no. I tell them, I said, starting up a business and not having a business plan, okay, is like going on a trip to someplace you've never been before. And I used to say map, but or now haven't looked at your GPS to see how long is it going to take you to get there? How much gas are you going to need? What the airline ticket is going to cost? Okay, it's like going on a trip without looking at your GPS, because that business plans give you as an entrepreneur an opportunity to put in writing, or sometimes just put in your mind mentally what it is that you want to do, how you want to plan it. And after you build that business plan, it's so important to follow it. I tell my small businesses all the time, go back every single year and visit your business plan, update it, put some new directions in it.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. All right, let's talk a little bit about the future. So, looking ahead, what are some of the 2026 economic or lending trends that business owners should prepare for now?
Well, I would say tighten your belt because the ride is going to be rocky.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
If I was a small business right now, I would tighten my belt. Okay. What does that mean? That means start looking at your finances. Make sure that you're not spending money in areas, okay, that you don't need to spend it in. And I am not saying don't grow, but I am saying look at your growth pattern before you decide how fast or how much you're going to grow in 2026. Okay. Because if we take a look at where we are with our government, we're in the middle of our government is shut down right now.
Yes.
We have
Yes.
no idea when it's going to open again. Okay. You know, look at the relationship that we have with China. Okay. China says, I may not be shipping you stuff. Okay.
Yes.
So if you get your product from out of the country, look at your business plan. Start thinking about if I cannot get that product, or if when I get that product is going to cost me more. Okay. Tighten your belt.
Tighten your
That's the
belt.
big.
Look at our relationship with China. Look at
Yeah.
our relationship with Canada. Look at our relationship with Mexico.
Mhm.
Look at our relationship with Europe. It is going to be rocky. It's going to be bumpy. Our relationship with the world right
Yes.
now is
Tighten
up
your
and down.
belt. Hold on to your finances. Check your savings accounts. Make sure that you have money set aside. So that if you have to do your own funding, okay, the dollars that you have will be there to actually keep you in business.
Jerrie, this has been very exciting, very informative. So please tell us once again, for those individuals who want to contact you and form a relationship, how do they contact you?
Yes, Jerrie Merritt at jmerritt at westernalliancebank.com.
What would you
That's,
like to leave our listening audience with, Jerrie?
I would like to say that if you are an entrepreneur and you're starting a business, congratulations. I can't think of a better time for you to be an entrepreneur. A lot of our corporations are downsizing. Okay.
Yes.
There's not a better time that in my history that in my lifetime, that I could think of than to be starting your own business, but doing it correctly.
That's fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to the Culture Experience with Mel and Bruce. My name is Mel Tillar, and I'm your host. I am thrilled to have been with you today, thrilled to have been with Jerry to get all of this great and wonderful information out to you. Until next time, continue to celebrate our culture. Goodbye, everybody.